All right, I'm in the middle of the marsh on a hot summer day. I wasn't gonna fish this particular area, but I saw so much bait running through here. I figure I just have to give it a try. Don't know if I'll catch anything or not. Don't know what this water looks like. It's actually too early to even see, but hopefully we can find something that's biting today in this hot Louisiana marsh. Let's find out. All right, it's early. It's currently 5:52. Sun's not up and it's a little cloudy anyway. So I'm gonna start with this pop R. It's basically a pop R. It's a TWP, an H2O Express pop R knockoff. Really like this bait, particularly in the summertime. Catch a lot of fish on it. Both bass and redfish really love it. And speckled trout do too, actually. Seeing some bait up ahead in this bayou. I don't know if you can tell, but the water's way out. I mean, way out. Tide's still falling, but it's not gonna fall much longer. West wind today, west wind yesterday. You know, that blows the water out, particularly on the east side of the Mississippi River. West wind also tends to dirty the water, so it's kind of negative. The grass in this area was really hurt by last year's drought. It does seem to be coming back, but it's not as strong as it was, that's for sure. Well, there's something just hit. Something just hit up top. Let's see if you want my pop R. Oh, he missed it. He missed it. The amount of bait in here is absolutely mind-boggling. Made a bunch of casts, only one blow up. Maybe there's a lot of bait because they know there's no game fish. Nice and safe. All right, just a couple little love taps on my TWP. So now I'm gonna throw this Candy Bug Zimmer Swimmer. And now I can get a little bit better look at this water. It's not too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. I'll take it. Particularly with all this west wind. If you can find water this good, you'll definitely take it. A couple alligators in here. Lots of grass. Glad to see that. It's coming back. Oh. Well, missed one. Missed the first fish of the day. That didn't take long. First cast with the Zimmer Swimmer. We had a little breeze pre-dawn, but you can tell it's died. It's not blowing at all anymore. Water temp in here is 85 degrees. It's getting warm. Summer is definitely here. And this water temp is not nearly as hot yet as it will get. Last year I recorded a 94-degree water temp, which is the highest I've ever seen. But you know, last summer was just insanely hot and insanely dry and insanely tough fishing. There's a fish. Oh, there we go. Oh, my drag's too loose. Oh, crap. Lost him. That was a redfish. My drag is too loose. Man, I hate losing the first fish of the day. Ooh, that was a good hit. There he is. I think it's another red. I don't think he's a giant. Hopefully he's a keeper. Yeah, I think he's a keeper. There we go. All right. Assuming we get him. We didn't get the last one. These fish get feisty this time of year. Fight forever. All right, that's actually a good red. It's a bigger red than I thought. About a 20-incher. That's about as big as I'll keep. I'm gonna keep him for sure. Sacrificed our Zimmer swimmer, but it was well worth it. Glad to have him. That fish definitely made a lot of racket, so hopefully he didn't alert all of his buddies that were here. I'm just fishing a shallow pond that's all grassed over on the edges. A little valley right here. Water draining through here with this falling tide. The beauty with places like this at the end of a falling tide is that you figure every redfish that was in this pond, for the most part, is going to be forced into this little trough right here. Once that water turns around and starts rising, those fish will fan back out in this pond. Boy, it's nice fishing under this cloud cover. I hope it sticks around. The water's too stained to sight fish, and I'm not the best sight fisherman in the world anyway, so I'll take the clouds. All right, just like that, our falling tide has ended. It is not budging a lick, which means it's going to be roaring in at some point pretty soon. Bad news with that is it's going to dirty up these backwaters, but at least it'll be moving. Definitely rather that than a completely dead tide. I knew it wouldn't fall long. We got until 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is when it switched, or when it stopped at least. Some people are of the opinion that on a dead tide, you should throw fast-moving baits, try and get a reaction strike. I kind of have the opposite mindset. I like throwing stuff that's slow, that looks more natural. Just trying to persuade a fish that it's an easy meal, even though he's not really feeding. Just something he can't let get by him. But usually nothing works. Definitely the toughest situation in marsh fishing, dead tide. No doubt about it. All right, even though this tide's not really moving, I'm gonna fish the bend of this bayou. Tons of bait in here. I'm gonna throw this green hornet matrix shad on a 3/8 ounce death grip jig head. I'd feel better about fishing this if that tide were screaming, but it's definitely not. It's the opposite. Opposite of screaming, it's silent. If I squint a little bit, oh, that felt like a hit. It kind of seems like this tide is maybe wanting to start rising. Looks like it's maybe trickling in ever so slowly. And that sun's starting to poke out, and already it's scorching hot. Oh, there we go. What the heck? Is that another red? Yeah, I think it is. And our dead tide, we'll take it. I guess that previous one was a bite. I did not get a good hook set on this fish. Would not be surprised at all if he earns his freedom. Yes, redfish. A dead tide redfish. Oh, beautiful fish. Look at the spots on this guy. Look at that. What a pretty fish. Look at this fish. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 spots. Beautiful fish. About 18 inches or so. All right, 2 casts, 2 bites. Let's see if we can get another one. Oh, another bite. Whoa. Boy, I wish I'd been here when this tide was moving. Obviously, there's a few fish here. Oh, another bite. They're hitting like the trout in one of my recent videos. Just hitting and spitting. And actually that fish I just landed was hooked under the mouth. So he had obviously spit it as well. Just didn't get far enough away from it before I set the hook. Oh, there's one. That might be a speck. It sure is. Yep, he threw the hook. He wasn't a keeper. It's about a 12-inch fish. Oh, something smoked me. Man, something keeps crushing bait up on top over here. Seems crazy. Next to this deep hole. I mean, it's not crazy deep, but it's like 8 feet. Don't know what it is. Probably a bass or a trout. Ooh, something swirl right next to me. Another big hit on top. They just don't want the TWP today. All right, no more bites in our bin, so we're kind of moving on. But I'm grateful for every bite I get on a dead tide. So no complaints. See if we can get lucky again. Ooh, there's one. Is that another red? I think so. It was a good hard tap, I know that. It was a, yep, nice redfish. Nice redfish. Ooh, dude, you're barely hooked. I'm not gonna lose you, I hope. Nope, we got you. So glad to see these guys. Rubber stamp size-wise. Look, oh, the last one we just caught. About a, I must say 18, maybe a little bit bigger than that, 18 and a half, 19 incher. I tell you what, there's a few reds in this bayou. Obviously, they're not just stacked on top of each other, but it's enough that I don't really want to leave because sooner or later, this tide's going to turn around and start rising. And you figure that's going to inspire those fish to feed. Now, of course, it may also push them into that pond that we fished a little while ago. Redfish are always itching to go shallow, but we might have a little window when that tide starts moving where the fish really get inspired. You know, a lot of times in June, we get these west winds and the fishing can turn really tough. When we get that, it gets really hot and it can get really, really tough, particularly for speckled trout. And this is a great pattern of fish when that's the case, just fishing these deeper bayous that drain bigger ponds because those fish have nowhere else to go. Now, the good news this year, it does seem like the grass has really rebounded. So when you have that situation, you're gonna have better water in these bayous. And today we've got really, really fishable water. It's not great. I've definitely, oh, good hit. I've definitely fished better, but it's very, very fishable. I'm not gonna complain about the water clarity at all. And that's because of all that grass, definitely. I mean, you saw how much grass was in that pond. And this whole bayou is grass lined. And grass is just a wonderful filter. And the limit in Louisiana on redfish at the time I'm shooting this is 5 per person, 16-inch minimum, 27-inch maximum with only one over 27 inches. But that is due to change very soon. And the new regs will be 4 fish, 18 to 27 inches with 0 over 27. I haven't measured any of the fish I've caught today, but they're all over 18, so it would all be legal size-wise. Some areas of the state have seen a bumper crop of fish that size. Those are fish that were born 2.5 years ago and just entered the fishery last summer, end of last summer. End of last summer, we started finding a bunch of sub 16 and just barely over 16. And these are the same fish. Ooh. Oh, I missed him. I got drilled. Man. A little slow on my hook set there. Oh, there's a fish I threw in that one's mouth. Another red. Man, there's some reds in this little bayou. I mean, I didn't engage the reel and this dude was on. He feels like a nicer fish. Swimming at me now. We may lose him because, man, I did not get a good hook set. Literally, I engaged the reel and felt like I was snagged on the bottom. Yeah, he's about, I'm guessing 22 or so, based on the glimpses I've gotten. All right, we got him. Yeah, it's about a 22-inch fish. Look at the belly. All this bait in here, this dude, he's definitely eating. All right, you gonna stay in the boat or you're gonna head on to wetter climates? Hitting the green hornet today. Look at this. Look how barely hooked he is. Look at that. Look at that. Good thing I kept pressure on him. It came right out. It wouldn't even pass the barb. So awesome, so awesome. Love fishing this pattern this time of year. Really any time of year. So consistently productive. By the way, that tide has definitely switched. It is rising now. Oh, there we go. What the heck? What in the heck are you? Oh, goodness. See, these are the trout you catch inside in the summer. Just little bitty babies. This guy would have been spawned at the end of last summer. Just not mature, not gonna move outside to spawn. Gonna spend all summer inside the marsh growing up. And by the end of summer, he'll be legal sized, or pretty close to it. Now, the good thing with the tides in South Louisiana this time of year is that they're really predictable for the most part. Obviously, you get a tropical system in the Gulf or something that's gonna change things dramatically. But for the most part, once you have the flip-flop, the dead tide days, when the tide starts building again, in a lot of this marsh, you're gonna have a falling tide in the afternoon. It's gonna start in the afternoon to fall. It's gonna fall all night, and it's gonna switch before dawn. So you come in the morning, you're gonna be fishing a rising tide. As we get later and later in the tide, get much closer to the next flip-flop, you'll be able to fish a falling tide the end of the fall in the morning. The tide will switch somewhere close to dusk, fall all night, and you'll still have a falling tide in the morning. I do a lot of afternoon fishing this time of year, trying to take advantage of that early falling tide when we're early in the tide. And then I'll switch to fish in the morning as we progress through the days of the tide, getting closer to the next flip-flop, if that makes any sense at all. If I'm wanting to fish a falling tide, and mostly I do. Mostly I do this time of year. When I'm fishing deep bends, I like a rising tide, but the deep bend bite is kind of nearing its end. For speckled trout, I mean. Mostly what's left in the marsh, those fish like those two little trout we caught, or hooked, landed one and hooked one today. And when I do fish in the morning this time of year, I'm almost always off of the water by 10 a.m. Just no fun fishing in those midday hours, just miserable. I'm an early riser, so I typically run in twilight to get to where I want to fish. And it gives me a good 4.5 hours to fish. Just plenty this time of year. Oh, there's another one. Oh, stay out of that trap. Come on, turn left. There we go. So awesome. Just so awesome. I really miss these guys. We had a couple of really bad redfish years. Well, they're definitely picking up. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Love seeing you. Come on, get you coming toward the boat. Here we go. This fish is going crazy. All right, let's net him. He clearly wants to be netted. They act so differently in the summer. Look at this fish. All right, we got him, finally. Whew, dude, you wore me out. Hooked right in the top of the mouth. No chance of getting off without breaking the line. And he did not break the line. Just love these guys, so glad they're back. Just a perfect 19-inch fish. Good eater. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a trip. Don't forget to try this pattern this time of year, particularly when we have these low water events. Definitely could happen during the month of June. Heck, last year it happened the entire summer. We had low water, west winds. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but it could. Fish those deeper bayous that drain big ponds, and you'll find these reds. They weren't really stacked up today. We had to kind of work back and forth, but plenty in here, plenty of action. Hopefully we don't get a bunch of west winds, but if we do, this pattern will repeat, and I'll be back here trying to catch these redfish again. All right, well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. Until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.